Welcome to Off Meta Offline, where we are playing games with our friends. This time, we're going to be playing Goblin Mode. Goblin Mode is a game produced by Off Meta, written and designed by myself and Kyle Jurek. Pleasant Pete.
Yes.
Last time you left off, there was a lot of conversation about perspective, and have you reflected on that? Do you still seeing things from a you want to be more human or more like humans?
Well, I think I was quite disturbed by my last conversation. I woke up from my dream highly disturbed, for I thought maybe I disappointed my charge. I thought that becoming a dog was in my best interest, to endear myself to the humans. They do love dogs, and I thought that becoming a dog would help me bridge the divide between Goblin Town and the human world.
Okay. So with that, do you want to, you saw some things in the course of those, in that dreamscape. Is that something that you would ever be bold enough to explore on your own? Or would you be more inclined to try to seek out answers in the terrestrial world, the real world, that type of thing?
I think I'm interested in seeking out the answers in the terrestrial world.
Okay.
I definitely don't feel like plucking out my own eyeballs, or and then sinking them back into my skull.
At least it's not Friday yet, right? Yeah. So, yeah. So, like, walk us through your process when you're kind of like on the march. You know, what's a day in the life of a goblin that can turn into any kind of animal or any kind of thing that you want to do? Do you start the day soaring through the skies, climbing like a squirrel, hanging upside down like what's that thing with the little like a sloth? What are you doing?
A day in my life is fairly on my own. I don't necessarily interact with people or with goblins per se. I observe, I listen, and I hang in the background, trying to understand the connection point between our desperate state here in Goblin Town and the more esteemed state with the humans.
So that kind of sounds like a scope, I think. Do you have any ranks in scope?
I do.
Okay.
I have one rank in scope.
All right, so we're going to do some gather information. So as you just try to observe the people around you, one of the things I think you've picked up to one degree or another from Annis is just to watch, and then from those observations see what it is that might be out there for you to learn and respond to. Is that about right?
Yes.
We start with so that's a silver that can be flipped into bronze. It usually doesn't happen on gather information, so it's currently just like a blank. So we're going to pull again. So while that is a gobstopper, it doesn't affect gather information. We're just looking for hits. And then that's a hit. So we're going to get a little bit of, there's going to be a certain amount of information. It may not tell you everything, but it'll give you some steps, perhaps in the right direction, okay? So as you are, it's a beautiful day as you're walking around in Goblin Town. And then even over into, so Goblin Town has an area that where the police station is for the gendarmerie, and some of those neighborhoods right there have started to be bought up by human developers, where now actually avant-garde artists and musicians that are human live, that type of thing. But it's no longer being residences for, or it's no longer being housing for goblins. But as you kind of watch and observe, you walk past a home or a little apartment, and you see through the window just the most disturbing painting. This figure cloaked in shadow, its face tilted to the side, its mouth a silver smile, so, and its eyes gleaming in the darkness. And this is painted on a canvas, or it's almost like what you see first is the face because it's just reflective, but the rest of the painting is dark and murky.
I am very strangely attracted to this painting or piece of artwork. I want to explore it further. I am disturbed by it, but at the same time, it draws me in.
How are you gonna learn more about it? What are you gonna do?
So it is in a building that I'm.
It's like it's a person's apartment, like on an easel. That's how people paint, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember that song, Easel Like Sunday Morning. Pop goes the easel.
I would like to...
Easel come, easel go.
Easel on down the road.
We're being so mean to Benny right now. I'm so sorry.
It's kindness. People giving you space to think.
Yeah.
Yes. I would like to, so I don't necessarily want to change my form because I'm currently walking, but I would like to approach this this window deftly. I would like to get a closer look.
Do you want to climb up there, climb the
Yes.
railing or something?
Yes.
Yeah, so there's a trellis, this part of town has started to be very bohemian, but aesthetics are much more important. And it has, despite it's like, ooh, that's so cool and weird for humans, it's like goblins are like, wow, that's basically like a box. It's like they're living in a big box with 4 even sides. Weird, right? But you're gonna go climbing up the trellis here to get a better look. All right.
Yes, I would like to get a better look.
What's your skitter?
My skitter is 2 in rank.
So that's silver.
Yes.
There's silver in
My
these hills.
silver and my skitter.
Yeah, I like it. All right, so let's pull and see how we're doing. This is still kind of a sustained part of the gather information, but maybe with a little bit more risk. So you're trying to get more involved in it. Let's find out what happens. We have a hit. We have, ooh, that is, well, it won't flip for you, but that's a blank right now. And then we pull. Okay, so you climb the trellis and up onto the balcony, and you hang. Like you said, you're strangely attracted to it. So you deftly climb. There was, you might not think of it as changing your form, but your form changes almost reflexively sometimes. You're such an adept shape changer that sometimes your fingers elongate just to get a better grip. Your toes become, they have like almost a prehensile nature. Well, they'll grip on and pull you up as well, right? So you are a very strong climber in that regard. But as you climb up and you look on transfixed, hanging on to the balcony of this apartment, you're drawn into the sight of this. All of a sudden, a young woman in kind of like a muslin blouse and suspended waiters type pants. You know what I mean? She's got like they're brown heavy work pants with suspenders holding them up. She turns to you and she's, Are you climbing on my balcony?
Yes.
Are you mostly just wearing a series of scarves?
Yes, I radiate a lot of heat. and I prefer to be unclothed, but I know it is not appropriate, so I wear these scarves to blend in.
Blend in.
Yeah, it's basically camouflage. What's your name there?
It's like, no, but this is my hidden name.
No, it's not.
No? Okay.
I thought Pleasant Pete was yours.
Yeah, I was like,
Never mind.
That's your hidden name.
Thought it was.
I can appreciate why you wouldn't want everyone to know it. But...
And the great sorcerer called forth a spirit whose true name was Pleasant Pete.
Oh my god.
My name is Pete. Pleasant Pete.
Pleasant Pete. Well, what can I help you with?
This painting on your easel, this artwork here. Where did it come from?
Where did it come from? You don't buy. I painted it. Can you like?
You are the artist?
You're making me nervous hanging there. It
Would
doesn't
you like
seem-
to invite me in?
Vampire now. Would you like to invite me in?
Bram Stoker's Pleasant Pete.
Yeah. Yeah, come on in, weirdo.
What is the inspiration behind this piece? I'd like to approach the artwork. I am still very disturbed by what I see, the cricked neck, the broken face, the broken figure, but I want to explore it further. So I want to approach the artwork and look deeper at the details.
Yeah, so you know, as you kind of observe it closer, this figure creeps along a cobblestone street. The buildings look like they are almost like it's a city street in Fenwick itself, right? So it's somewhere nearby, but yeah, the thing about his face that you notice is it's not just that the face is turned crick. It's almost like the smile and the eyes hang suspended. There is no face that holds them. That they're just looming there on that you know, that whatever it is stops at the neck essentially, or it's a hollow thing that just kind of almost like possesses these clothes, these shabby clothes, this long dark coat. So it leers at you, and as you look at it, you see your own eyes in the reflective surface of the silver eyes looking back at you.
I think perhaps I'm attracted to it because it reminds me of something. It stirs a memory, and it feels important, and at the same time grotesque. And I turn now to look at this person that has invited me in, and I ask them, tell me about yourself. Where did you see this? How did you come up with this artwork?
Well, my name's Carla. I had a dream. I dreamt about him, and you know, there's been the girls that live in the boarding houses all across town, and even into here in Goblin Town neighborhoods. They've been talking about this figure, this thing, and then I saw it in my dreams, and maybe it was just something that they said, you know, and but it was so vivid. It felt like I was out on the street. It felt like he was looking at me. But I don't know. That's the technique is a combination of mixed media. So that's just a little bit of silver gilt there, so you get a little bit of texture and it shines. It has I can see why it pops for you. You're not an art dealer by any chance, are you?
No,
Okay, well, I
just fascinated.
use the rent.
This is understandable. Perhaps, do you have any other artworks? Perhaps anything else inspired by your dreams, Carla?
I mean, yeah. I mean, I've got sketches and all other kind of paintings. I mean, and she, you know, takes you into what I guess might be like a little dining room, but it's mostly full of like there's works in progress and then finished things that are sat around, sometimes just in stacks, and then frames of canvases that have been peeled off and loose canvas that's she's going to reapply, things like that, or whitewash canvases that were used and going to be reused. As you sort through them, there's other things about night vistas, but on that almost look like they're on an alien world, horizons that you've never seen before, and then there's a painting about that looks like like those cutouts of the earth that we have where it shows the layers and here's this thing like that, right? It's almost like that. So it's cut down the center, but below the earth is hungry mouths, right? So on these different layers and things like that. So you go through her sketches and there's more of the figure, but the figure is like biting into the ears of people on the street, things like that. So you can see the very visceral, horrified look of people being, bitten into by this figure.
This is the first interaction I've had where I have connected with a human on a deeper level. And I'm a little unnerved by how welcoming Carla has been. It's a little disturbing to me, not just that there's this artwork here that references dreams or images I've seen before, but also something disturbing about how welcoming Carla is to me. Something feels off.
I'm going to say that you, based on your own description, have a level 1 harm anxious, and you can resist that, right? So you can say, one of the down columns in your attributes, right? So usually something like this might be social, so obstinance might be the resistance, but it could be I'm too, I know that sometimes my anxiety is not really there, so I'm too smart to let that affect me, or something like that. So, or I muscle through. So it just depends on how you'd want to approach it. But you have those 3 resistances: gall, obstinance, and brains.
Yes.
If you want to use them.
I think I'm unnerved, but it's not necessarily bothering me to the point of a draw.
Okay.
I think it's more wariness and curiosity. Does that make sense?
Well, here's what's actually going on in terms of our communication. So you can, when I am saying that you are afflicted by a level 1 harm, and you're saying, you can either say, no, I'm not, because I actually am not anxious to that degree because I'm too obstinate for that to happen, or I'm too curious, I actually just muscle through those types of feelings. Does that make sense?
Yes, I am too curious to be harmed by this harm. It's mostly what is unnerving to me I feel like I can discover in this time with Carla.
Okay.
And perhaps there's something else that might happen here that would actually harm me, but I'm not guarded about that. I'm more curious.
How many X's do you have going down in your brain's attributes?
2.
So you have a silver in that particular resistance. That's really good. All right, so we'll pull and we'll just see how much either fortune you could potentially take or lose, or karma that you might be able to use to offset that. Okay. All right. So we start with a hit.
It's a good start.
Hey, I always like it. We continue with a hit. If I pull another 3 bronze greens, I'll tell you what, that seems hard. I did it.
Man, is that all of them that are in the bag?
Yeah. I've done that twice. Okay, whatever.
There's going to be plenty of 3 reds coming then.
All right, so
Thanks.
what I'm actually going to do, because of that, you would end up, you're going to get an additional karma that's going to go in your stack. That doesn't come from here. You just have a karma to spend, okay? So we'll get you a token for that momentarily. All right, so yeah, you don't feel any of the, like, you feel that wave of wariness, but like you said, your curiosity means that you just, I mean, really, what's anxiety in the face of learning about this grand new vista, right? Yes. All right.
Yeah.
So what are you asking her about?
I would like to find out more from her. I know that my time here can't be all day, and her time with me can't be all day, but I'm very curious to understand her more, and so I ask her, can we meet again? Can we connect once again, and she can show me more of her work, and perhaps I give her the idea that I might have a connection with a buyer for her work.
Okay. So do you have sweet speech or that actually sounds more like a swindle?
I have nothing in swindle.
So the reason I say it sounds more like a swindle is I might have a buyer for some of your stuff is a little bit more like, it's less earnest. It's a little bit more like, persuasion-y. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So do you want to stick with that line of?
No.
Okay.
How could I bend it more sweet speech?
How do you make it more sweet speech? It's just that there's no carrot. It would be more
Why does it have
earnest.
to be a lie? Why could it be he knows where humans go to sell art?
Well, that's not exactly the same as I know in art, but it's possible. That's true. If it was a thing that's just a true statement of, I'd like to connect you with other artists, or, but you, like you said, this
It's
is the
not.
first. This is the
That's
first.
not my motive.
Huh?
That is not my motive. It
Yeah,
is not to actually sell her work. It's more that I want to deepen this relationship. And in order to do that, I feel like I need to engage with her need to maintain her rent at this apartment. That she doesn't seem like she has the finances to continue.
I think sweet speech could be just more about taking interest in the things that you see. So there's a lot going on in the rooms. There's there's records. Like look, these they're metal cylinders that play, and you hear the projection. So she has some different sets of those that have label art on them, and maybe of like almost like jazz musicians or that type of band feel type of thing. So there's interest in that, or just like I said, just being earnest is sweet speech enough, I think.
Okay. I'd like to tell her, Carla, I have been having these images filter through my mind, not entirely certain where they come from. I think from my dreams as well, and I think perhaps there is a connection between us, and I would like to learn more from you. I'd like to talk with you further about your art and where this all comes from you, Carla.
See how we pull. What's your ranks in sweet speech?
1.
You start with a hit. You want to keep pulling? You have a success with consequences.
Let's pull.
All right. So this is, I know that looks bad, but it's actually a blank. But you still have a success with consequences. But that is not a miss or anything.
Right.
You want to pull a final third time?
I will sit with the success with consequence.
All right. She gives you a real wry grin when you say this, kind of like, I think we're connected. You know, that the universe has brought us together. And she looks at you and says, "You're a curious little thing. Have you ever been gorgonographed?"
Gorgonographed?
Yeah, so in the city, and she pulls out, like she rolls out this cart, and it's got this big box with it's got this like silver shutter on it, and then, so I don't want to do it without your permission. But inside of this is a gorgon's eye, and I open up this shutter just long enough for it to see you, but before it can hit you with its petrifying gaze, I wheel the shutter back down, and it will make a bas relief of your image. Have you ever seen you, other than like in a dirty mirror or maybe a pond?
No, but this is terrifying. Will it harm me?
She looks at you with this, what's the best way to say it, almost pretentious gaze. And she looks at you and she says, "Honey, all art harms."
This resonates with me because I do feel harmed by the artwork that drew me in here, but at the same time, infatuated with it as well. But I am scared of this box, and I'm scared of this exposure. I turn away. I run back toward. I run back toward the window where I came from. The window?
It is a balcony.
Balcony.
Yeah.
Yes, I run back toward the balcony, and I go to leave.
Well, Pete, that was very pleasant. If you ever want to reconnect, maybe we can harm each other and make something beautiful. Who knows? And then she goes back inside and starts, pacing around the kitchen as you slink out the balcony. Minuteman!
It's time.
It is time. About that time, right? Now, Minuteman. So it has been. There's been a strange thing that's happening in your. Because I'm imagine some of your work in progress clocks or best favorite clocks probably just stay with you at home. Wouldn't that be the same? They don't have to make it to the shop. You need to have them close by if there's a pressing need.
Oh, yes.
Right.
Yes.
Well, there's one clock, and Birdie generally dotes on you pretty heavily, but every once in a while she says, what's your true name? She's not gonna call you Minuteman.
Hurdy-gurdy.
Hurdy-gurdy.
Girder.
Hurdy-gurder. Yeah.
My family is construction workers. It's hurdy-gurder.
I gotcha. Hurdy?
Yes, Birdie.
Do we have to keep?
And no made that connection.
Hurdy and Birdie Girder.
Birdie, birdie, girder.
It's like the Swedish chef.
My favorite Muppet.
Yeah. Hurdy-gurdy-gurder. So, do we have to keep the clocks on the table? I don't like to eat soup in my lap.
I understand, my love, but they're. I just can't take them to my shop. These are just a little too special right now. They need a little extra attention. I can try rearranging some things, but I know I don't want to move your stuff, which is even more precious.
Well, don't make silly jokes about me slurping, because I need to. If I can't have a table, I'm gonna have to slurp my soup.
Oh, Birdie, it's so cute whenever you slurp, though.
It embarrasses me. I don't like it when you look at me when I slurp.
Oh, dear.
Make sure you. See, this is what I'm talking about.
Oh, but it's just so cute. My dear.
You know I'm sensitive about it.
I know you are, but I just love you so much. There's nothing you can do that is not totally endearing to me. And I apologize for laughing and making you uncomfortable about that. If it's really that much for you, I will do what I can to respect your boundaries.
I want you to take me on a walk. I want you to hold my hand. I want you to be romantic.
Oh, of course.
Birdie.
I was just thinking the other day, it's about time to go look for some more materials for other clocks to make. And
That's not romantic.
Oh,
That's scavenging.
well, I was going to take you. I found this really cute park. Really cute. Even better than the beach that we went to. You know those terrible seagulls. Those bothered us so much while we were there. There's no seagulls at this park. And there's a cute pond. There's plenty of flowers right now this time of year. I figured we pack up some of that banana bread that you made yesterday. And we just have a real nice park date. While we walk around, I can do my work, and I will make sure that you get my full attention as soon as I find just a couple of things. Just a couple.
Hurdy, you are so diligent. You work so hard. Sometimes your wife, who loves you, just wants a nice glass of wine and a walk. Can you do that?
Of course, my dear. Of course.
And if you see a gear or a sprocket or a spricket, you just say, maybe tomorrow. And we need to go to the wine shop.
Okay. Anything for you, my dear. Of course.
And don't be, I know how you get sometimes. Glenn's he's a nice man. He's our friend.
Why did you bring up Glenn?
Because
You know how I feel about Glenn. I'm sorry for my temper. Whenever I see him, I just can't stand him. He's crossed too many lines. I understand that. No. I can't. I can't with Glenn.
Well, my feet are sore anyway. I think I'm just going to go put in my curlers and lay down.
Birdie!
No, you got important work to
Cuckoo
do.
bird, come on, my dear. We must, let me do something nice for you. Come on.
She turns to you. She leans in. She says, cuckoo, cuckoo. And then she kisses your nose. Then she says, don't be up too late. I know how you get sometimes.
I'm going to bring you back something real nice. I'll find something for you. I promise.
Maybe bring me back a foot rub. I don't know.
Of course. That and a foot rub.
And she goes and lays down. And you're working throughout the night on a clock that is, like, in such bad shape. Like, it's so far away from actively working as a mechanical device. And you're mostly, like, you're refinishing some of the finer detail work on the outside part of the cabinet and all that kind of, yeah.
Working
And-
with my tools.
But you've worked so long on it that your eyes get droopy, and your coffee cup is empty, and then you don't have time to get up and refill it, so you just kind of get back to working, and then you just fall asleep at your dining room table. And then at 2 a.m., 2:12 to be exact, this broken clock tolls.
What? Is it more? What is going on?
It rings
I
out with a
swear.
crystal clear chime.
I fixed that. I fixed that yesterday. What on earth is wrong with this thing? I'm furiously trying to tinker with it to get it to stop.
All right, so do you have, that sounds a little bit like a scrounge.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have a scrounge?
Oh, I got scrounge.
Oh. All right, what's your scrounge?
My scrounge is silver.
Silver.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to use a scrounge to gather some information on what's going on with this this broken clock, all right?
Sounds great.
We start with a hit. I need to shuffle this.
You're doing fine.
Yeah,
I want to see 3 bronzes again.
Three
And then my
bronzes.
plan of changing all of your tokens to bronze has come to fruition.
You're a real smooth swindler, aren't you? All right, that's so. But what is your? You should have a move at the bottom of your sheet that says something about when you pull a weird token.
Ooh, yes.
What is that connected to for you?
When I pulled a weird token on a scrounge action,
Okay.
on a successful pull, you introduce a makeshift tool, and I take a boon.
All right. So you could stop now, right? Currently, what you have is a success with consequence. You could continue to pull to see if you get a full. Another hit would give you a full success, and you would get the benefit of that move. Do you want to do that?
Let's do it.
All right. Or that mischief, as we call them in this game. All right, Linksel, you have pulled a. This is a bronze. It can be a bronze, but it's currently a miss. But if you spend a fortune, it will count as a hit for you because you have how many? 2 ranks in this, right?
Scrounge? Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm silver.
So if you take a fortune, it goes to your karma pool. It goes out of this pool right here. Normally, I'd also ask, is somebody able to help the Minuteman? But nobody else is really in this scene. It would be difficult for them to. I mean, you could work around it, but I think for ease of explanation, it might be better just if you wanted to take.
I'll take that fortune.
All right. So add that to your karma pile.
Thank you.
Now, so what happens is if we're on a caper and they currently have 6 fortune. If they ever run out of fortune on a caper, that caper automatically fails. They have to abandon ship, and then they come back. All the characters do with an unseelie trait. So that's usually like they're wicked, or they might be cold or callous, things like that. And it's stuff that they role play. They can get experience. But if they get enough of those unseelie traits, that character's no longer playable in the band. They're just too unseelie. It's too unseelie. All right. So with that in mind, you have, though, gotten a full success. You start to open up this clock, and as you look inside of it, it's still chiming, and you're looking at the parts, and there's no mechanism by which that can happen. There's no magical array. There's no any kind of configuration that should allow this to be going on. And you never like. Birdie is an absolute peach, an absolute darling, one of the sweetest women to ever have existed. However, even a good woman, if woken from a dead sleep by a chime that she asked not to be on her kitchen table, I mean, could anyone ever really accept that fully?
Oh, no.
No. Wouldn't that drive them into the waiting arms of Glenn, the sommelier?
I'm going to scoop up that clock and get to my my proper workplace down at the shop as quickly as I can.
Okay. As you run out of the house down to the shop, you live pretty close by to the shop. I mean, why would you be that far away if we're being honest? You almost don't register the fact that the ground squishes below you as you run, and as you look at your feet, it seems like a very natural thing that you would be running across lily pads along a pond until you find yourself inside of your waiting shop.
Well, that was weird. But I'm here now, so I'm going to get my proper tools and just try and quiet it without doing too much more harm to it.
Well, it's easy peasy to get into your shop as you wade through knee-high water. I mean, that's always been there, I think. But you know, in parts of the shop, you actually have to paddle, you know, dog paddle. Or are you a good swimmer?
I'm probably average.
Okay.
Not super good, but like it would probably be a little bit of a struggle holding onto a clock while trying to swim. But like my head's above the water.
That's true. And this isn't like the rushing current that you know. I mean, you're almost positive you remember there being a slight undertow in the office sometimes before. So I mean, this seems like definitely a better state of things.
For sure.
Yeah.
This is quite the flow of time.
But you make it up to like I envision that your workshop maybe has a little loft space, and so it's once you kind of wade through and even swim through that deepest bit, you can just climb up the ladder up into the upper loft.
Shake like a dog.
Yeah.
Try and like dump all the water that the clock might have accumulated inside of it from having to hold it and swim.
Yeah. I mean, the only real thing that catches you off guard is when that fish comes out of your shirt. You know, it's just...
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. And you find a frog in your pocket.
Pocket frog. Save
Yeah.
it for later. Birdie loves making frog legs. That'll be a treat.
Yes, yeah. And so, but this thing is still tolling, and then it's almost like as it rings out, other clocks pick up its chime, its tune.
The HOA is not going to like this. I'm causing such a ruckus. I'm just like spinning around in utter disbelief at what is happening. Like, how could all of my clocks be making this much noise when it's clearly not the top, bottom, or quarters of the hour, and this clock is being a butt.
Well, so as you open up the clock and you start to pry at it with your tools and look deeper inside, there sits a 10-armed, almost feminine figure. It wears a toga, but it has a blindfold over its eyes. This little celestial figure is winding its arms around and then pulling at a rope pull from the top of the clock. And as it pulls and pulls, this clarion bell rings. And then you can, as you open it up, it makes perfect sense because now the clarion bell, as it reverberates out, it pushes out this little bit of dust, and as it floats through the air, it gets sucked into your other clocks, and those start to ring out, and you know, and you can see even you're trying to wave it out. Okay. Yeah.
Stop.
Do you have swear?
Swear?
You have any ranks in swear?
I've got nothing in swear.
So are you going to try to stop it from going around in earnest?
Yeah, because
Okay.
it's very noisy, and I don't want to draw too much attention because it's the middle of the night. It's 2 a.m.
Do you have any deficits in swear or anything?
I don't.
Okay, that's good. But you have no ranks.
I have nothing in swear.
So no ranks is pretty tricky, as you'd imagine. So let's pull and see how we do. How about that?
Sure.
We start with a weird token. This is a miss, right?
Yeah.
You want to keep pulling? No harm, no foul.
Sure, let's
Can't be
do it.
worse than failing.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what I always say. Oh, hey, you know what that is? That's a hit. What are these tokens I got in there? You can stop, though. You could take a partial success in this, or this success with consequences if you wanted to.
Let's do that. Or we're not pushing this any farther.
That seems relatively prudent for a coward, but all right. Hey. Oh, whoa. Calm down, GM. You shouldn't be goading players into taking risks. Undue risk. However, I would like to see what would have happened had you been bold, brave, courageous. Nothing. You would have failed. It would be bad.
It's time.
All right. So, with that in mind, a success with consequences. What does that look like? As you start to wave this around, you do kind of corral the golden mist inside of the loft space, and you even like take a big gulping breath of this stuff in, right? And as you do that, the 10-armed celestial woman steps out of the clock, and as she does, she grows larger. First, it's just the size of maybe a normal human, and then as she fully gets out of the clock, she's 10, 11 feet tall, with 5 sets of folded arms across her breast and chest.
Here's 2 of them.
Yeah, there's 2 of them. See? You are an audacious goblin.
Yes? What were you doing in my clock?
What is your clock doing around me? You ask wrong questions.
What's the right question?
The time strikes, and you ask why I would bear a message? Does one ask the pigeon why it brings a notice?
Were you sent from Annis? Did Annis send you?
Annis? No!
What's the message?
That this time is fortuitous.
2 a.m.?
I strike when the fates demand. Unlike you, little goblin with no respect, I do as I am commanded. And when they say, chime the tone, I chime the tone.
Okay. Why? I still don't quite understand.
How to best explain it to you? Perhaps she touches your brow and you get like this whirring, like you like pulled throughout space and time and infinity, blazing golden boulevards, space without end. You feel the infinite blackness around you. You feel the earth on top of your chest. You cannot breathe. And then you come up for air, and none of it makes any sense. That's why.
Am I gonna die?
Of course!
At 2 a.m.?
No. Not everything's about you. You are the clock maker.
I am a clock maker. I know there's others in town. I'm way better than them.
Well, then that must have been why you came so wholly recommended for fates and time and destiny. Jeez.
Am I... Other than chiming, is there a special purpose for this clock? Is there anything that I need to do to make it more suitable for its purpose?
Perhaps one bell is very limiting. If I could only honk one horn, it always sounded the same. Yes, I'm in distress. One horn. Oh, please, excuse me. One horn? What does that even mean? It's like if I was trying to communicate to you and all I knew was one word. Groot. What does that even... It's nonsense. Can't convey anything.
I will work on giving you more bells.
Yes. More bells. More bells. And then sinks back into the cabinet. And then as you look inside, it's just the little it's the mechanics. There's no little celestial being in there.
It's Will Ferrell in an SNL skit.
More bells.
I'm never eating banana bread again.
And you snap awake at your table.
Well, that was interesting.
And then you
I guess I
hear-
gotta add more bells.
And from your pocket you hear, "Ribbit."
Pocket frog.
Pocket frog!
That's been our edition of Goblin Mode. I hope you enjoyed it. You can check out more of this kind of content at youtube.com/offmetaplays. You can join us on Patreon, patreon.com/offmetaplays. That really supports the cause, so be a part of that. Thank you so much for Haley and Veronica, Adam, Benny, Linksel, Kyle, Rules Gob, and Jesse running the back cameras. I am Tyler. This is Off Meta, and until we meet again, always
Think.
Off.
Meh?
Sir?
Ah!
Or think of meta.
Yeah.
Home improvement over there?